Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? I feigned surprise and asked her back, what else do you expect? To become a concubine or marry a commoner? Before you entered the palace, father made it clear to me that I must find you a good family to marry into, and I took that responsibility seriously. That's why I brought you into the palace. If you had stayed in the Zhen residence, you could at best marry a servant, which would be a lifetime of injustice for you. I couldn't help but feel sad. Isn't what you're seeking just a status? Huan Bai seemed unable to fully believe it, yet appeared moved and called out, Mississippi. I bent down to help her up, sighing softly. There's no one here. Do you still have to call me miss? You should call me elder sister. Tears welled up in Huan Bai's eyes. I said, won't you call me that? You know very well how I've treated you all this time. The grudge between us isn't really ours. It's something left over from the previous generation. I took her hand and made her sit down. I know you've felt wronged for many years. Although you are father's biological daughter, your name isn't in the family register, and you couldn't carry the U generation name, nor could your mother's tablet enter the ancestral hall. But Huan Bai, doesn't father love you? Although you are nominally my maid, I've always treated you like a sister. Huan Bai pondered for a moment, then bit her lip and said, but whenever I think of my mother, and how acknowledging me and her as part of the Zhen family could only happen if I attained a status like yours, it made me hope to have my mother's tablet rightfully placed in the Zhen family ancestral hall. She held her head high. You might disdain the U in your name as common and choose not to use it, but you don't know how much I've longed for it my entire life. Do you think it's that simple? Once you become a consort, and it's revealed that your mother was a criminal's daughter, do you understand the consequences? Not only would the Zhen family be implicated, but the charge of harboring a criminal's daughter would be enough to exile father thousands of miles away. Father is old. How could he withstand such turmoil? How could you bear it? I paused. Let's not even mention others. Do you think by siding with imperial concubine Chao Jie, you'd be safe and sound? After all, you came from my service. In reality, imperial concubine Chao Jie is just using you. Otherwise, she wouldn't have brought up your betrayal in front of me at Shuilu Nanshuan Palace. Don't be deceived. Look at Consort Li. Once you're no longer useful, your fate will be even worse than hers. Especially after today's event, do you think Consort Hua and imperial concubine Chao Jie would still trust you? Huan Bai's sweat dripped down, and her lips trembled slightly. I continued, that's not all. What if one day you and I have to compete for favor? Would you want father to watch his daughters fight? Heartbroken and sorrowful? Besides, with your current skills, how would you compete with me? It's just making wedding dresses for others. How could you be so foolish? Huan Bai looked down in shame, mumbling, I don't wish to compete with you. Her voice was filled with sorrow. Miss, I didn't mean to harm you. The emperor likes you so much that even if he knew you went to see Miss Mei Zhuang, he wouldn't punish you severely, at most confining you for 10 days or half a month. In the emperor's eyes, it's only you. If you were absent for a while, the emperor would surely notice and favor me. She hesitated. Wouldn't it be good for us to serve the emperor together? It's an honor for our ancestors and our family. You are my sister, and there's nothing wrong with serving the emperor together. I looked at her and asked, Huan Bai, tell me, do you like the emperor? Huan Bai pondered for a moment, then shook her head firmly. I said with a touch of sorrow, do you think that marrying the emperor will grant you status? In the end, you are just another concubine. I picked up a handkerchief to wipe away my tears. Your mother didn't even have the status of a concubine when she was alive. Do you, as her daughter, want to tell her spirit that you can only be a concubine? Moreover, you don't even like the emperor. Can you bear to spend your life with a man you don't love, enduring his neglect and blame because of other women, competing with them over him bearing his children? Even if he can give you wealth and honor, the next moment you could be in the cold palace. Are you willing? You betrayed me to gain favor, but even with Consort Hua's protection, will the people in the harem respect you? Will the emperor respect you? Huan Bai's expression gradually dimmed, and she was at a loss for words. The flickering candlelight cast her trembling shadow on the wall. I continued, that's one thing. And can you guarantee that the emperor will definitely like you? From what I see now, the emperor doesn't seem to have a special fondness for you. Competing for his affection seems to be very difficult. I confidently looked out at the beautiful night and bent down to help her stand, speaking softly. I've actually planned for you a long time ago. If I continue to be favored by the emperor, I will definitely arrange a good marriage for you so you can choose someone you like and grow old with him. The favored ladies by the emperor's concubines naturally marry into good families. I will have you acknowledge father as your godfather, and you will marry from the Zhen family. Your mother's tablet can then rightfully be placed in the Zhen family's ancestral hall, and your name will be recorded in the family register. Your wishes will be fulfilled. Wouldn't this be the best outcome? I sighed. It's also my fault. If I had shared my plans with you earlier, none of this would have happened. Huan looked up at me with tears in her eyes, filled with sorrow and guilt. A tear suddenly fell on my arm, its warmth touching me. Huan called me with tears, "Elder sister." I too shed tears. "Do you know how many years I've waited to hear you call me elder sister?" Huan threw herself into my arms. I truly didn't know elder sister had such intentions for me, leading me to make such a grave mistake. She sobbed. These past days it was indeed my foolishness that troubled elder sister. I acknowledge my mistake and will stand united with elder sister hereafter. I exhaled. Yu Yao is timid, Yu Rao is young, and our brother is away at war. In our family we sisters must rely on each other. If we let evil people sow discord between us, causing us heartache, then there's no hope for the Zhen family. Huan cried out. Huan has failed elder sister's years of teaching. Please forgive my ignorance and short-sightedness. I personally helped her up, saying, "You haven't mentioned your mother's matter to Consort Hua and the others, have you? If they know, it could lead to endless troubles for the Zhen family in the future." Huan shook her head. "I've never mentioned it to them. A few months ago, on my mother's birthday, Imperial concubine Chao Jie saw me crying alone in a corner of the Xianglin garden. She thought you had mistreated me and used that as an excuse to get close to me. I just wanted to use her and Consort Hua to get the emperor's attention, not to intentionally harm elder sister. Besides, my mother's matter is too important. I dare not speak of it with them." I nodded. "It's fortunate you didn't mention it." Then I added, "What you seek from them they might not give you, but I, your elder sister, definitely will." After carefully inquiring about her interactions with Consort Hua and Imperial concubine Chao Jie, I had Jinxi come into the room to stay with us for the night.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.